British patrol takes a wrong turn in Sierra Leone. 12 soldiers are kidnapped by drug-crazed rebels. The hostages do all they can to stay alive, until special forces launch one of the most daring rescue missions of modern times.
Worst case scenario, they shoot the hostages and then also manage to take out one of the helicopters.
The attack force needs luck, skill, and bravery. This raid could change an entire African nation or become Operation Certain Death. Sierra Leone looks like a tropical paradise. It has fertile soil and vast mineral wealth. But in the year 2000, it's the world's poorest nation and the most dangerous. Life expectancy for a man is just 36. A savage civil war rages between the government and powerful rebel militias. 75,000 people have died over the last 9 years. August 25th, 2000. A patrol of 11 Royal Irish Rangers returns to base near the capital city, Freetown. Major Alan Marshall is in command.
You all right, lads?
Marshall and his men are here because Sierra Leone is a former British colony, and Britain is determined to stop the country from descending into anarchy. 4 months ago, rebels were about to seize Freetown. United Nations peacekeepers were in disarray. Britain sends a task force to defend the city, followed by 200 Royal Irish Rangers to train the Sierra Leonean army and help it defeat the rebels.
Come to play, son!
Lieutenant Musa Bangura is one of the best soldiers to complete the training program. Musa is the patrol's local liaison officer. He's liked and respected by the Rangers, and they can't operate here without him.
I used to guide them and act as interpreter. The British people actually knew very little at that time about the people of this country, customs, and the politics.
Musa has warned the Rangers about the savage brutality of the rebels, especially their weapon of terror, amputation.
They thought that if they carry out amputation, civilians will support them, they will fear them, and if they fear them, they definitely have to support them.
There are thousands of victims across the country. The rebels have no political ideology. Their main aim is to seize the country's diamond mines. Every year, the mines produce gems worth up to $100 million. In rebel hands, these are blood diamonds, tainted by human suffering. But they hold another dark secret. Many rebels trade them with Al-Qaeda in exchange for weapons. Then, Osama bin Laden's agents sell the stones to fund global terrorism. The patrol passes through the Okra Hills on the west side of the country. The dense jungle here is controlled by a notorious rebel group. Their headquarters is less than 4 miles away. They call themselves the West Side Boys. The 300-strong gang includes escaped criminals, women, and boys forced to arms. They love rap music and outlandish clothing. Some even wear wigs. They also have an insatiable appetite for booze and drugs. For fighters like 23-year-old Turkish, the party usually starts in the afternoon.
Why don't drink rum, that they get extra mind for do anything when me commander tell me. Some man then they smoke brown, like me now so and a jamba no more can smoke.
Their leader is 24-year-old Fode Kale. Despite the partying, he has a problem. He and many of his group are renegade soldiers. In 1997, they staged a bloody coup. But the junta collapsed a year later. The government returned to power, and the mutineers formed the West Side Boys. Now they're politically sidelined and surrounded by government and UN forces. If they leave the jungle, they could be charged with treason and war crimes.
At that time, we fear that if we give the gun, we'll be arrested and sent to prison.
It's a catch-22 situation, and Kale will do anything to find a way out. 1:45 p.m. The patrol stops at a UN checkpoint.
What do you know about the villages up ahead here?
The soldiers tell Marshall about some villages in West Side Boy territory.
Those villages.
Rumor is that some of the rebels are willing to risk surrender. Marshall has orders to gather intelligence on hostile forces in the area and is compelled to investigate. Musa is uneasy about the change of plan.
As we drove further and further, the tension started building up in me.
The jungle gets thicker.
I said, this area is infested with West Side Boys. They will not take it lightly if they happen to see us.
The West Side Boys watch as the British patrol drives into their heartland. They send a decoy team to stop the convoy. Then, an ambush party swarms from the shadows.
They started shouting that if you shoot, we are going to kill you all.
The rebels grab Marshall. The leader of the mob steps forward. The patrol has strayed deep into West Side Boy territory. But no one here is about to surrender. Anything could happen. When critical situation returns. When Musa regains consciousness, the West Side Boys are taking the patrol deeper into the jungle. Late that afternoon, they arrive at the rebel stronghold, a tiny village called Gaberibana. Rebel leader Fode Kale sees the 12 men as hostile intruders.
I'm not the one who give the order to arrest them, but my men arrest them and hand over them to me. They don't have any business to go right in the jungle. They take them as a spy.
The British soldiers will be invaluable bargaining chips. As hostages, they'll give the West Side Boys power, and maybe a way out of the jungle. 30 miles away in Freetown, senior officers from the Royal Irish Rangers enjoy a drink. An urgent message arrives. 12 men are missing. A chill runs through Lieutenant Colonel Simon Fordham, the regiment's commanding officer in Sierra Leone.
We surmised that they had had an accident, or the worst case would be that somehow they had been, they got involved with the West Side Boys or been apprehended by them.
The British commanders plan a full-scale search, but Musa fears his time is already running out. Minutes later, the rebels drag him away. He's beaten again, this time by boy soldiers.
I was feeling the pain, heavy pain, because they were beating me everywhere. My head, my eyes, everywhere.
He's thrown into a pit. His cell is 7 feet deep and about 16 feet square. The stench is unbearable. There's nothing to drink. Day 2, August 26th. The British begin their search for the missing patrol at dawn, but call it off when Calais announces he is holding the patrol hostage. He has a list of demands. He wants an amnesty and recognition for the West Side Boys, not as criminals, but as a political force. He also insists on the release of West Side commanders captured by the government.
Most of our our men have been in prison, so I demand to the government that let them release our men, then I will release the British soldier.
The British understand Calais' objectives, but know they can't be achieved.
The demands weren't realistic. There was no way that they were going to be met whatsoever.
Later that day, Calais tells his hostages he started negotiations.
We will negotiate, then you'll be released.
He seems calm and reasonable.
Where is Musa?
Shut up!
But his volatile character emerges.
I am the leader.
Calais could fly into a rage or execute the hostages.
You shoot at the man!
Marshal fears negotiations are doomed. Their only hope is a military rescue. Somehow, they have to smuggle information about where they're being held to the outside world. All they have is a pen and a scrap of paper. They draw a map of Gabaribana, revealing the exact location of the hostage house and rebel defenses. The British military also thinks negotiations will fail and prepares for a massive rescue mission. It's codenamed Operation Barras and will be led by Britain's Special Air Service, or SAS. Television cameras captured their ruthless efficiency in 1980. The world watched as the SAS freed 19 hostages held by terrorists at the Iranian embassy in London. 5 of the 6 terrorists died. There were no SAS casualties. Operation Barras will take days to organize, but the hostages may not survive that long.
The slightest thing could set the West Side Boys off. Yeah, they were completely rational.
4 days into the crisis, the rebels seem tired of negotiation. The hostages are lined up.
You're gonna be the first one to die. And you second.
Executions are about to begin.
And you third.
Critical situation will continue in a moment. 11 British soldiers face death deep in the jungle of Sierra Leone. Their lives flash by.
Shut up!
As each man waits for a bullet in the head. Minutes pass. But nothing happens, except the arrival of palm wine. The hostages are spared simply because the West Side Boys no longer have killing in mind. Day 5, August 29th, 4:30 p.m. Lieutenant Colonel Simon Fordham, the Royal Irish Rangers commanding officer, meets the rebels at the edge of the jungle.
It was a very dangerous situation. Most of them were drunk or high on drugs for the vast majority of the time.
Calais brings Marshal and Captain Laverty to prove the hostages are alive. Laverty's heart pounds. Hidden in his hand is the map of the rebel stronghold. He has only one chance to pass it to Fordham. If the rebels suspect they're being tricked, they could kill all the hostages.
He came forward, shook my hand, and as he shook my hand, there was clearly something in it.
Laverty is pulled away, but no one has noticed his sleight of hand.
But really, the point of these negotiations were to gain time, with a vested interest clearly in getting the patrol out at each and every stage.
Well, he told me that let me release the men, then we go and meet the government and talk to them.
The rebel leader wants an amnesty and political recognition for the West Side Boys. But then, he surprises everyone.
I may release some of your prisoners.
He says he will release 5 hostages in exchange for a satellite phone.
Right.
Calais wants the phone to contact the BBC,
I need a satellite.
so his demands reach a world audience.
We go right to the international community because at that time the government was so stubborn that we never listened to us.
Calais leaves, unaware that the British have more than the imminent release of 5 hostages to celebrate. They now have a detailed map of Gabaribana. The following day, the British send Calais a satellite phone, and 5 Rangers walk free. Their accounts of beating and mock execution strengthen the case for action. The 7 remaining hostages must be freed.
It was pretty clear that we were going to have to do a rescue operation as quickly as possible.
The SAS arrives in Freetown. For security reasons, all SAS operations are covered by an Official Secrets Act. These are the words of a real SAS soldier. To guarantee his anonymity, they are spoken by an actor.
You look forward to it. It's what you're trained for, it's what you're good at, it's what you do. If you don't enjoy it, you're in the wrong game. It's the excitement, it's the buzz.
The SAS are joined by a 147-strong contingent from the Crack Parachute Regiment. The combined assault force stationed at Waterloo Camp on the outskirts of Freetown. The SAS needs detailed information about their target, so they send observation teams to explore the terrain and spy on the West Side Boys. They'll stay near the hostages until an attack is launched. Then they'll be the first into action. Soon, they make a crucial discovery. Hidden sandbanks block the river route to Gabaribana. An attack by boat is immediately ruled out. The SAS observation teams are forced to make a grueling trek through the jungle. Every step takes them deeper into West Side Boy territory. There's no turning back. "820 feet from Gabaribana. They use all their specialist training to hide, look, and listen. Powerful microphones pick up the faintest sound waves from the rebel camp. The observation teams feed everything they see and hear back to headquarters. Captain Danny Matthews, the parachute company's second in command, attends the daily planning sessions.
Charlie force to the left. We were given an intelligence update, which was actually quite an eye-opener in terms of the numbers that we were dealing with potentially, and the types of kit and equipment that they had.
They learned that about 150 West Side Boys are based in Gabaribana, a collection of about 20 ramshackle buildings and huts. The hostages are being held near Calais' house. There's jungle on 3 sides, too thick for a large assault force to penetrate. Roquel Creek blocks the 4th side. Just reaching the village will be difficult. And there's another major problem. 100 West Side Boys are also based in Magbeni, a village less than a mile and a half away on the opposite side of the river. They're armed with heavy machine guns and mortars, which could lay down a deadly barrage on anyone attacking Gabaribana. A 2-pronged attack is necessary. The paratroopers will take out Magbeni, while the SAS rescues the hostages in Gabaribana.
Go, 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 go!
The SAS starts rehearsing.
Go, 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 go!
They use the Canadian-made M16A2 assault rifle. It's lightweight, reliable, and highly accurate up to 1,500 feet. The jungle will severely hamper a British attack on Gabaribana. But if one comes, the West Side Boys have a unique weapon.
Oh, my wing! Oh.
Voodoo.
I know man we then get them projection in the me self go to then go was me that native medicine.
The ritual has a profound psychological effect. Those who complete it believe they are bulletproof.
Nowadays, bullets near the church missa.
Meager rations and constant intimidation take a heavy toll on the 7 hostages. Musa's abuse is the worst. He's beaten regularly, and his dungeon is used as a toilet.
My everyday slogan was to live on for another minute, another minute, another minute, hours, days. That was what kept me going.
The SAS observation teams watch and listen, but they can't help unless an assault is launched. Then, they hear something so chilling, it pushes Operation Barras into overdrive. Stay tuned for more Critical Situation. SAS observation teams eavesdrop on rebels holding 6 British hostages. Their sensitive listening equipment picks up a commotion. They hear Fode Calais, the rebel leader, order Major Marshall to talk to BBC reporters via the satellite phone.
Use it!
He wants Marshall to tell the media that the hostages are well. Marshall refuses.
Use the satellite phone! Take him.
Calais' retribution is terrible. The hostages are led to the edge of the jungle. The SAS hears every sound
Now,
as the men prepare to die.
you're gonna die. 3, 2, 1. Bang!
News of yet another mock execution sends shockwaves through the British commanders.
There was a renewed focus, there was a renewed vigour. There was certainly a tangible feel that the amount of brutality and the way in which the hostages were being treated, there was a lot of resolve to make sure that this ended, and this ended quickly.
British Prime Minister Tony Blair gives Operation Barras the go-ahead. Day 16. The rebels party. While Calais examines a stash of blood diamonds, the assault force makes final preparations. The soldiers are desperate for action and the chance to exact retribution on the West Side Boys.
These were horrible individuals who needed to be taught a lesson.
The British can't reach the rebels by river or through the jungle. They have to attack by helicopter, which means the rebels could hear them coming and execute the hostages.
Calais had said right at that very first meeting that any attempt to rescue the hostages would mean that they would kill the hostages outright.
Success depends on the speed of the attack. To save invaluable seconds, the first SAS soldiers into action will fast rope to the ground. The plan is extremely dangerous.
Worst case scenario for the Operation Barras would have been they would hear us arriving in the area, shoot the hostages, and then also manage to take out one of the helicopters, which would have been disastrous.
Operation Barras is so risky, the men give it a new and darkly ironic name. Operation Certain Death. Day 17, September 10th, 6:16 a.m. 3 Boeing CH-47 Chinook helicopters take off from the Waterloo camp. They carry all 70 SAS commandos and the first of 2 paratroop attack squads.
You are excited, your adrenaline kicks in. It is going to happen, you are going to go into battle.
Chinooks have a top speed of 180 miles per hour and can carry 45 fully equipped soldiers. They're not normally armed, but these have been rigged with machine guns. 3 A-87 Lynx attack helicopters join the Chinooks at the mouth of Roquel Creek. 40 miles east, the SAS observation teams move closer to Gabaribana. A night of heavy drinking has taken its toll on the West Side Boys. Musa is now being guarded beside Calais' house.
The forward observation teams were predominantly given the task of preventing any interference with the hostages.
The SAS stops less than 165 feet from Major Marshall and his men. At 6:25 a.m. The helicopters roar up Roquel Creek. They mask the sound of their engines by flying just above the tree line. The SAS has been split into 6-man fire teams, each with specific targets. The first to hit the ground has the most critical task, reaching the hostages before the West Side boys can kill them. 6:35 a.m. Major Marshall hears the throb of distant helicopter engines. He knows instinctively that a rescue mission is underway. Three key landing zones, or LZs, have been chosen for the attack. A Chinook carrying 45 paratroopers swerves right to an open area a third of a mile west of Magbene.
You feel quite vulnerable as an infantry soldier. You want to get off the helicopter onto the ground. You don't want the helicopter to be taken out.
The two other Chinooks turn toward Gaberi Bana. The first LZ is a clearing near the hostage house. The second is a few hundred yards north. Musa's guards hear the noise.
The sounds of the helicopters keep coming. They kept coming, kept coming.
Helicopters outside.
They wake Fode Kale. Seconds later, mayhem erupts. The helicopters lay down a barrage of fire to knock out the rebel defenses. As the Chinooks descend, the downdraft rips the roof off Kale's house.
I was scared because I knew that the Bishop at that time, the mosque came with heavy support to come and dislodge me.
The dreaded command is given. Kill the British hostages. The executioners are less than 30 seconds from the hostage house. But the first fire team still hasn't hit the ground. If these killers aren't stopped, they will reach the hostages first, and the entire operation will be a disaster. But unknown to the rebel executioners, there's a fourth party in the drama. After more than a week in the jungle, the SAS forward observation teams break cover and open fire. They're trained to hit each target twice.
Upper chest, head, boom, you're down. It's a double tap.
Kale's henchmen crumple in a hail of precision marksmanship. 6:40 a.m. Fire Team 1 fast ropes to the ground and explodes into action.
It's a big event. It's a premiere.
The sprint to the hostage house takes less than 20 seconds. First, a stun grenade for the guard room.
You go up to the place and boom, it's over. It takes longer to tell you about it than it does to do it.
Fire Team 1 reaches the hostages. But there's a man missing. The SAS keeps the 6 Rangers under guard. Then they search for Musa. At the same time, 11 other fire teams fan out from their landing zones. Armor-piercing bullets from their M16A2s shoot straight through the flimsy mud and timber huts. Many of the groggy and bewildered rebels run for their lives and hide in the jungle.
I feel bad anyway because I've been, me Sesef will die.
Across the river in Magbeni, the paratroopers have to crush the rebels fast, or they'll launch a deadly barrage of fire on the SAS attacking Gaberibana. But the landing zone turns out to be a swamp.
It was almost chaos when we first got off because people were under the water, people were, it wasn't what was expected on the ground. I was amazed at the time that no one drowned, to be honest.
Then the rebels open fire. The paratroopers are sitting ducks as they struggle to reach cover. In Gaberibana, the SAS reaches Calais' house. There's no sign of the rebel leader. But something's moving under the bed.
Get out! Out now!
It's Calais. Turkish is watching.
I see we then capture Calais live. I see live within the Gegam.
The SAS finds Calais' diamonds.
Stay down! Stay down!
He fears that death is now imminent.
One of the one who captured him, like he want to use a gunshot, then the commander stopped him, said no.
Calais is taken prisoner. 6:50 a.m. While the search for Musa continues, the SAS takes up defensive positions. Each soldier has a carefully planned field of fire. They will defend Gaberibana until the hostages are airlifted to safety. Musa can hear the gun battle, but he can't see what's happening.
Musa! Musa! Musa!
He's trapped under the wreckage of Calais' roof.
Musa, yeah!
I heard these voices calling, Musa, Musa, Musa. Musa, where are you? Musa, where are you? I said, yeah, Musa is here, I'm here. I'm under the roof.
After 17 days of beating, torture, and degradation, Musa is finally in safe hands. But as he's carried to the evacuation point, gunfire sweeps the village. Many of the rebels have regrouped in the jungle, and they counterattack.
They fought back, and they fought very hard.
The SAS fire teams are pinned down. A bullet from an AK-47 ricochets off a building and hits SAS trooper Brad Tinian in the lower back. The bullet exits through his chest, causing massive internal injuries. In Magbeni, there's another major setback. A rebel mortar shell hits the paratroopers' command unit.
There was a massive explosion. Then you obviously hear the cries and the screams.
All the senior officers are seriously wounded, leaving no one to lead the attack. The West Side boys fight back hard on both sides of the river. Operation Barras is turning into a nightmare. Stay tuned for the conclusion of Critical Situation. Operation Barras is in trouble. A fierce battle rages as the West Side boys fight back. 6:55 a.m. In Gaberibana, SAS trooper Brad Tinian is fatally wounded. His comrades call in air support. Then, with interlocking fields of fire, they strike back with deadly effect. Across the river in Magbeni, with all senior officers wounded, Captain Danny Matthews takes command. The 21-year-old immediately issues orders to kickstart the attack.
your role, your responsibility kick in, your training then kicks in. Predominantly, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose momentum. As we eventually sort of broke in, there was a massive amount of fire, again, a lot of it very inaccurate, to be honest.
The West Side Boys crumble as more than 100 paratroopers sweep through Magbeni.
We took a lot of the front elements by surprise. They were bewildered by the sheer speed and the aggression and the numbers that would sort of overwhelm them with so early on and so quickly.
7 a.m. Half an hour after the attack starts, a Chinook makes a high-speed approach to Gaberi Bana. Sporadic fire still comes from the jungle. The 7 traumatized hostages break for freedom.
A lot of emotion was going through me. You know, the feeling of being safe, the feeling of being alive, the feeling of, oh, well, I have not been killed, I am not dead. Because I never knew I was going to see my parents again. I never knew I was going to see my family, my friends, all those people I used to know.
Seconds later, the hostages are airborne. Their ordeal is over. The British crushed the last pockets of West Side Boy resistance over the next 3 hours. The entire attack force is gone by 10:30 a.m. British Prime Minister Tony Blair declares Operation Barras a success.
And I cannot pay high enough tribute to the skill, the professionalism, and above all, the courage of the armed forces involved.
SAS trooper Brad Tinian is the only British fatality. But the West Side Boys pay a much heavier price. The official rebel death toll is 26. But blood trails suggest the real body count is much higher. The remaining West Side Boys either surrender or melt into the jungle. Their leader, Fode Kale, is imprisoned. To this day, he denies full responsibility for the crisis.
I'm not the one who created the problem. God knows. Because if I'm the one who created the problem, obviously I'm supposed to die on that particular day. But so God saved me from that.
The destruction of the West Side Boys shocks other rebel groups in Sierra Leone. Fearing they could be next, they start to surrender. Within 16 months, the civil war is over. Musa still bears the scars from his ordeal. But when he revisits Gaberi Bana, he knows it was worthwhile. Because one wrong turn triggered a sequence of events that changed the course of history.
Whatever peace they are enjoying today, I, myself, and those British guys that were held hostage, we are responsible.
Sierra Leone is still a poor country. But now its people have the chance to prosper.